Hello, 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 it's live and working. Hey, everybody. Everybody's logging in, getting ready for our conversation. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Hello. I see some people coming in. How are you? Hope you guys are having a great day. We will get started momentarily. Momentarily. Gotta just make sure we got everything populating and working. Yep. There we go. How's everybody doing? Hello, hello. Hey. How y'all doing? Happy holidays to everyone. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad you're on the live. As most of you may know, we are doing a Christmas giveaway tonight. I just asked that for those who did not know about it, you can tag some people, tag 5 people in this live to join the conversation. We'll be talking about tonight is fixing your focus and facing your past. We're going to do the giveaway at the end of the live, so you got to stay on until the end in order to hear who wins the gifts. So just know, it's a bundle of some goodies. Yes, some good things in there. We got some gift cards in there. There's some snacks in there. There's some reading utensils in there. Some sweets in there. It's a lot of stuff. If you know me, if you don't know me, guess what? I like good gifts. So don't worry about it. Even if you're not local in my area, we will send it to you. So go ahead, log in, tag some friends in this conversation, share the conversation that we're about to take part in, and we'll get started shortly. Yep. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Like I said, I hope everyone is having a good day and have already been having a great week this week. If you haven't, I pray that it gets better in this latter part, even though we're in the middle of it, that it gets better. And even praying for those who are maybe struggling during this season, that may have lost some loved ones over the course of this year and it's a little rough for you right now, or you just might be going through some financial difficulties. I pray that in this season, right, that we're in holiday season where everybody's so joyful and happy, that you find that joy, that you find that happiness in this moment and in this season. Like I said, our topic for tonight is fixing our focus and facing our past. And there's no greater way than trying to find that. And we're going to discuss, because this is a part of a chapter that is actually in my book, Trusting God in the Process, what you see here. If you don't have a copy, I certainly suggest that you get a copy. It will be a blessing to you as people have been sharing how the book has been helping them, how it's been ministering to them, and encouraging them along their journey in this life that we live. It's not easy. And all of you can attest to that. We have our good days, we have our bad days, but in spite of it all, we still continue to press forward. And as we prepare ourselves to end this year, I know these 12 months have been very fast, but as we prepare ourselves to end this year, that I want us to focus in and hone in on what we are looking forward to into this new year, that we are working on fixing our focus on the things and the purpose that God has for us as we walk into this new year. Yes, some may be like, oh, I already started my new year. You got your decorations, you got your ideas of what you want to do this year, but Let's focus in on ourselves, doing the eternal work on us so that we can be the best version of ourselves in these years coming forward. And working on ourselves doesn't just mean that we're doing it for us, but we're doing it so that way we can be such a beacon in this earth that it will prepare and help other people to be the best version of who they are. We're no good for no one else if we don't take care of us. We are our first priority. We may have children, we may have spouses, all of that stuff. You got responsibilities, you got work, all of that. That's great. But none of that gets done if we're not right within ourselves. We'll be working as injured people, and eventually those injured parts will give way if we don't take care of ourselves. So one of the things to start off tonight, when I think about this part of fixing our focus and facing our past, there's a scripture that comes to mind in 1 Timothy chapter 4, and the verse that I look at is verse 16. And I'm reading this from the Amplified Version, and it says, "Look well to yourself, to your own personality, and to your teachings. Preserve in these things, hold to them. For by doing so, you will save both yourself and those who hear you." Meaning that if we don't take care of us, if we don't deal with our eternal things, then what good are we to other people? What good are we to our friends, to our family, to our children, to our spouses, to our businesses? What good are we if we don't take care of us? I had to learn this along my journey, that in order for me to be the best version of myself that I can be, I had to step away from those things that I got comfortable in. For me, I had to move to a whole nother state to find me. Because when I was living life and I had moved away to North Carolina, but while I was in Jersey, I felt suffocated. Because everywhere I went, because I work in an industry where I was constantly reviving and being around people and singing at funerals and everything. So you couldn't even go to the grocery store without somebody like, "Oh, that's the funeral lady. That's the lady say, take me to the king." I became a person that everything was just constantly, no matter where I went, where I go, I was constantly looked at as, "Hey, how you doing?" And sometimes I forget people's names. Sorry, my bad, y'all. But I'm human. But it seemed like I couldn't breathe. I felt suffocated in where I was and in my walk with life. And for me, I had to make a hard decision to leave that which was comfortable for me and move to a place of unknown, a place where I knew no one, no relatives were there. I knew some friends had moved down there, but at that time, I didn't really know anyone. I had to set myself apart and go and find me and do the necessary work on myself. Now, don't get me wrong. Moving to a whole nother state was not an easy task. It was not an easy decision for me to step away from comfort zone. And a lot of times we get so comfortable in where we are and we don't want to make those adjustments because we're worried about, what is this person going to feel, or what is this person going to do if I'm not here? Guess what? They will learn and figure it out. That there is they have resources of their own, because we'll get comfortable in people relying on us. We'll get comfortable in, oh, well, I do this at my church and I got to be here for this and I got to be here for that. And we're running around and ripping and running and doing everything for everybody else. And we never take no time out for ourselves. Going home and sleeping at night is not taking time out for yourself. Sometimes that means going on a vacation. And maybe you don't have to go on vacation, or maybe you can't afford to go on vacation. Do a staycation. Take yourself out. Go to the spa. Listen, go take a walk in the park. Whatever it is that you need to rejuvenate yourself, take that necessary time out, because you are important. You mean something to not just to others, but to yourself. You gotta value yourself and put yourself first. And while I was going through that, I realized that trusting God is not just something that we do seasonally. It's something that we have to do daily in our lives, is trusting God in our process, because every day is a challenge. Sometimes it's hard for some people to get up out of bed. And you got to trust God that, you know what? To get up in this day, Lord, I'm going to need you to give me the strength that I need. And, give me the mental capacity to handle whatever you have to handle your day. And sometimes we don't want to wake up because we knew what we left in yesterday. And then yesterday turns into our today. And then sometimes it travels into our tomorrow. But we got to learn how to let some things go, and also to realize that what's in front of me is not the end all be all. We will survive that. We will get over that. We will learn. You got to learn how to deal with the hurdles that are in front of you. And in dealing with those hurdles, yes, we may not like the outcome. Yes, it's hard, but that don't mean it's impossible to tackle. It's not impossible. Truth be told, the fight is already fixed. God knows our ending. He knows where we're going to be. He knows what we're going to be doing. So if you're facing it right now, know that that's not the end of the journey. That's just what you have to deal with in this moment. And when you're doing that, you got to learn how to deal with your mind, your body, and your soul. What you feed into those elements of your life plays a big part in how you progress forward. If you're feeding yourself negativity, if you're feeding yourself with not positive things around you, and you listen to everything and everybody, if you let all these doctrines and all these opinions and what you see on social media and let that stuff guide your life, you will find yourself feeling like you're schizophrenic, because the world and everything else around us goes up and down every day. Sometimes we see people on social media, you following people on social media, and you're like, oh, they're smiling and their lives seem so good. And then the next day you see them, oh, life is just so hard. Then you find yourself going into that place right along with them. Don't let social media tell you how to live your life. Don't let other people's opinions and what they're dealing with determine how you walk out your journey. Your journey is your journey, and that's what God has purposed for you to walk out. It's okay to get help. It's okay to get advice, but don't let them tell you how to live out your journey. Your journey is for you. Tell yourself, my journey is for me. My journey is for me to walk out. My journey is for me to live. People's opinions don't determine your outcome, and you cannot allow them to. So always keep that in mind, and learn how to, when you're walking out this journey, I know it's hard because I had to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to look at your life through the lens of God. God sees every imperfection we have, and he still loves us. God knows every sin we've committed, and he still loves us. God knows every excuse we can give, and he still loves us. No matter what, God's grace and his love for us never changes. It's us who change. It's not him. He's consistent. And even though sometimes we ask him things and we feel like he don't show up when we want him to show up, guess what? His timing is perfect. He knows exactly what we need and when we need it. Sometimes we be asking God for stuff like, God, I need you to give me this right now. Lord, I need you more supernatural. I mean, we go in prayer and fasting and all types of stuff. We be looking at the wall, waiting for a special number, going, looking at signs on the wall and thinking it's prophetic speaking to us. Well, it's just an encouragement word on the wall, but we're seeking something to give us assurance of what he's already promised to us, when God's word is enough. His word to us is enough. And if he said he's going to do it, believe you me, he will do it. It may not be in the timing that you think he's going to do it, but he will do it in the right time. So you got to stay the course. Trust me. Listen, my journey to me finding me, that didn't happen in a week. Didn't happen in a couple days. That took some years to develop. And I had to work at it daily to get the best version of myself. And not only did I work at it daily, but in working at it, I had to face the ugly. One of the hardest things to do is to look at yourself in the mirror and remove all the makeup. Look at yourself first thing in the morning when you ain't got no makeup on, your lashes ain't straight, your eyes got crusts in them, your breath ain't so fresh, your hair is just as matty and doing whatever it want to do. Or baby, guess what? Maybe you ain't even put your wig on. Maybe you got the braids just showing, or you got a bonnet or Or for that guy, maybe you just, fro ain't dread, you ain't put your water in your hair, give your curls, give your gel, whatever. Maybe you ain't brushed your head, you ain't even got your right clothes on, you ain't even got the right cologne on. But that's the part that God sees. The made up us, that's just a, what's the word for it? That's an imposture that we give people. That's not the authentic us. The authentic us is the us without all the dressings. That part right there, that person right there is the person that we got to learn to love. With all our imperfections, we have to learn to love that person. And when you start to love that person, no one on this earth can tell you what you're not, because you already know who you are. And it's such a wonderful place to be when you know who you are. And it makes me a little emotional because it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work to get to that place. To understand your value and know that you're worth something. When you've allowed people to tell you who you are and to tell you who they think you should become, and they put kind of pressure on you to live up to this standard. It's one of them things where when you find out and you realize what God has called you to be and who He's called you, what He's called you to do, it puts things in perspective a little bit differently. So when people come along and they try to tell you, oh, I think you should be doing this, I think you should start this. No, that's maybe you should do what God told you to do. Don't try and tell me what God told me to do. Because you'll find yourself launching out into something that God never intended for you to do because somebody said you should be doing it. But that's not what He's called you to do. And when you find in yourself, you'll also find the purpose that God has you on this earth for. You never know. Maybe He sent you to write a book. Maybe He sent you to start a podcast. Maybe He sent you to start a daycare. Maybe He sent you to be a motivational speaker. Whatever it is, it's okay. And trust me, stepping out into something new, it's not easy, but it's doable. The hardest part is making the step. That's the hardest part. You can ask anybody who started anything, started any business, went out on any venture, whatever it is. It was an act of faith. You don't know how something's going to be until you try it. Hey, and guess what? Even if you fail, that don't mean that you are a failure. You tried it. It didn't work. Okay, move on. Try something different. But do what's necessary for you. And do what God has purposed for you to do. The other thing that I want you to also keep in mind is that your purpose has power in it, and you have to learn how to focus in on that. Hone down on the things that God has for you. So when you're walking into this new year, I want you to keep in mind the things. I need you to write down those things, because the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain that men may see it and run with it. If you ain't got no plan, how do you expect God to send the resources to help you build the plan? I need you to go write down the vision, write down those things that you desire to do, whether it's a business, whether it's, starting a hair care line, whether it's, starting a family, whether it's you getting married, whatever your agenda is, whatever your plan is, whatever you feel your purpose that God is calling you to do. Today, I want you to write those things down. Not only write it down, you have people that do vision boards and all that kind of stuff. All that's great. But if you got the vision board on the wall and you never look at it, what purpose is it giving you? If that means that you got to put it as a screensaver on the front of your phone, do that. Whatever it is that you look at every day, put those things that you wrote down and put them in that area so that it is a constant reminder to daily pursue your purpose. I'm telling you, it seems like it's hard to do, but it's not. You have it in you to do it. And as you write it down, I want you to make initiative every day to do something, do whatever it is. Make a step towards that purpose, towards what you have written down. So that way, you never know. You may be in a store. I run into people all the time at the randomest things. I be at an event or just having conversations. And it's funny that God would allow me to interact with somebody who has exactly what I needed. And I'll be sitting there like, God, you are hilarious. It makes you laugh because it's like, if I never would have wrote the vision down, guess what? I never would have been able to, God, if that person would have came to me before I had it written down, I never would have been able to receive it because I wasn't ready, because I didn't have nothing prepared. So write those business plans down. Write out those goals. Because guess what? God has somebody that's waiting to pour into you and wants to invest in your purpose the same way, but they got to see the drive that you have. They got to see, you got to put forth the work first. You have to make the first move. Because if you're not going to make the move, you can't expect an investor. Investors want to see what you are already doing in your purpose before they invest in it. So if you don't believe in it, how do you expect somebody else to believe in it? That's the purpose. You have to invest in yourself first. You have to trust your own process first before you can expect somebody else to trust it and walk along this journey with you. That's the same way you see so many people wanting to get married. Oh, they want a relationship. Oh, I want to be in one. And oh, I'm just tired of being single and all that kind of stuff. That's great. But if you don't know what love look like to you, how you going to know what it is when it comes? If you don't know what you need, how do you expect it to come if you're not prepared for what you're asking for? So we got to do the work first. You got to do the work first. And in doing the work, also keep in mind, there's some things that's in us that we need to deal with. Some of us is carrying a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of anger that has been built up over years over what other people have done to us. Or the stuff that we have done to ourselves that we haven't even forgiven ourselves for. That we need to release so that way we can progress and be fruitful in our walk. But you don't get there by just mere burying everything under a rug. Eventually that rug is going to turn into a mountain and you're eventually going to trip. Why not just deal with what you're piling up? And guess what? That means going to see a therapist. It's okay to have people to talk to, but you need to go get some professional help. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with it at all. But all of us need to take some time out to get an expert opinion or an expert view, and how allows us to look at it from a different perspective. So that way, again, we can be the best version of ourselves that we can be. So in this year, as we conclude 2021, I want you to find those things that you want to focus in on. I want you to write down those visions and those goals that you have for yourself, because those are going to be the things and the tools that you're going to need to focus in on going into this year. Get whatever help you need. There's resources available for you. All you got to do is ask. Not only that, and if you don't know where to look, you can always inbox me or something like that. I know resources and people that are in the field that can be of assistance to you. But that's what I want for us in going into 2023. We're going into 2023, and I want you to walk in it with victory, with purpose, with focus, and with energy and perseverance as you go through it. Because again, like I said, it's not easy, but it is doable. So thank you for joining the live. I appreciate it. Continue to share it. We will repost it after this conversation. But before we go, does anybody have questions? Anybody on there have questions that you want to ask in regards to, fixing your focus, while I grab the boxy of gifts? You can ask a question and I will respond to it. Thank you. So as you see, woohoo. So how are we doing that? So as you see, there is a lovely box. Like I told you, this is a box that I filled with a lot of things that I like. See all the little lovely fluffy stuff. So in the box, you have a recyclable grocery bag. If you live in New Jersey, you already know they only got plastic bags no more. You're going to need it. So it's a help. And it's big. Not only that, you get a mug. See, got my face on it, so it's a constant reminder. Cheese. Also in here, we have a lovely Bath & Body Works candle. So while you're reading your book, it's one of my favorite scents from Bath & Body Works. But while you're reading your book or while you're taking that meditation time, that personal time for yourself, light a candle. Let it just rejuvenate you. I'm telling you, it's a wonderful scent. I love it. And anybody who knows me knows there's something that I love to drink. It's called ginger ale. I love all flavors. But apparently, I've been hooked on the ginger ale with the lemonade. I'm telling you, it'll bless your life. Don't let it fool you, okay? And some people say I'm a Starbucks junkie. I don't really care. It's my day. Right here, you have a gift card to Starbucks. As you can see, I got my cup with me. And in here also is a copy of actually my first album that I did, which was called Gotta Move Forward. It's a shame that I couldn't remember the name, but it's called Gotta Move Forward, that I did with some great friends of mine. But that's in here as well. And if you don't know nothing about these lovely Lindorf chocolates, listen here. These things is good. And I'm trying to tell y'all something. If you drop these in some hot cocoa that you could put in your mug that's in here, listen, it gives a nice, great caramel flavor with chocolatey, extra chocolatey. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Not only do you get that, as you can see, I'm still digging in this box, but you also get a copy, a signed copy of my book, Trusting God in the Process, as well as there is a copy of the journal in here for you to write notes. And not only can you write those notes, but guess what else you can write in there? What did we just talk about? Write down those goals and those visions that you have, so that way you can look at them constantly and show yourself, and so the way you can continue to motivate yourself along this journey. So like I said, all that stuff is in this box. So for those who know how to follow instructions, and it's very important and key, let's see who won the box. There we go. And the winner of that is, let me see who that person was, because you had to be present on the live. Well, the one person who did follow instructions that it goes to is Reese. Reese, you have a package from me. Yes, you are the winner of the Merry Christmas from Maisha bundle. Woohoo! Reese, so get in contact with me. I will inbox you to let you know that I have your gift box for you to pick up and retrieve. Again, thank you guys so much for joining in on this live. Continue to like, share, and subscribe to all our social media platforms. On Facebook, we're Maisha Price Brand. On Instagram, it's Maisha Price. On YouTube, is Maisha Price. Twitter, what's the other one? What's the thing? TikTok. There you go. TikTok. All of those platforms, subscribe and like as we share things and motivations and keep you in tune with what's going on and the lovely ideals and things that we have coming up. So thank you guys and happy holidays to you. I will see you guys in the new year. So have a good evening. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you later.